All right, all right. Welcome to the March 18th, 2026 15-minute superpower training Zoom. Got another fire episode for you guys tonight, and we're going to jump right in. Don't be emotionally attached to the outcome. I'm curious if you think you know where this is going, drop something in the chat. Where's this headed? Where am I going with this? Don't be emotionally attached to the outcome. You might guess, you may not. You may be surprised. It's going to be a compelling episode tonight. You're going to love it a lot. Have you ever needed someone to say yes and they didn't? Let some more people in here. I'm going to ask that question again. I want this to sink in. Have you ever needed someone to say yes and they didn't? Why do you think that is? One more time. Have you ever needed someone to say yes and they didn't? Has that ever happened to you? Like, tell me in the chat. Don't name your cows, Dave said. I love it. Thumbs up by Teresa. So, look, all of us have needed someone to say yes at one time or another, and they didn't. And the more you needed it, the worse the conversation went. I'm going to share a little video clip with you guys in a minute, and you're going to see a correlation here. This video with our friend Todd Falcone, this dude is epic. Been doing training, been in network marketing 36 years, doing training full time for more than 20, and he's just awesome. Why do I share some of his video clips with you guys when I do training instead of me just doing the training myself? How many of you have heard of third-party validation? So I say it until I turn blue in the face, and then I get someone else to tell you too. That way, you've heard it from more than one source, right? Cynthia and I say the same things over and over and over again, but we bring in a coach, right? This is like when Dylan was racing motocross. We would tell him what we see, give him advice over and over and over again, and then a coach would come in that he barely knows, met him a week ago, says the same thing we said, and he just executes on it. How does that work? That's called third-party validation. So you guys enjoy this short clip with Todd. He's a great storyteller, awesome trainer, and then I'll pick it right back up. Here we go.
What's up, you guys? Todd Falcone here. Welcome back. Look, here's the deal. When you don't need the sale, you make more sales. Isn't that weird? That's how it works. So, look, there's a couple things I want to cover today in this episode in terms of emotionally detaching yourself from the outcome, like emotionally detaching. This first one, this is the quickest, fastest, easiest way out of emotional attachment. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that, while incredibly true, people are like, come on, man, there's got to be a pill for that one or something. You got to, come on. I don't have the come on. I'm sorry. Okay. The number one way away from emotional detachment is, again, even if it's about to come out of my mouth, I know you guys are going to be like, ugh. You got to talk to more people, man. You got to have more exposures. If you're sitting there hovering over the three people that you're prospected and you're like hoping, you're over there massaging this one and massaging that one and getting back to this one, you got to move on. So when that person is indecisive or they haven't, they're not interested, they keep leading you on, they keep putting you off, you don't even care because you got too many other people to talk to. You got too many other people to get back to. You have no time to sit there and worry about this person because you've already talked to 11 more people after you talked to that person who blew you off. And there's nothing more satisfying than moving on to the next prospect. So if you want the fastest, easiest way out of emotional attachment, you got to talk to more people. And outcome detachment absolutely increases your confidence. When you kind of, I don't have another way of putting it. When you just don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't really care. I mean, if you join, awesome. If you don't join, awesome. Like you've got to change the attitude. Because if you're so attached to this person joining and you're hoping that they're going to join, you're going to be like finding yourself depressed. You're going to find yourself discouraged. You're going to find yourself frustrated. You're going to find yourself quitting because it's just like you're down. This person doesn't love me. They don't like me. Nobody joins me. What's wrong with me? I've been there. No, I know you don't see it today, but that's the way I was 35 years ago. I was pathetic. I was not good. I would go home and crawl up in a ball on my couch with a bag of Sun Chips and a Coors Light, cry myself to sleep. God, what's wrong with me? What, it's working for these other people. Why not me? But I was also willing to stay long enough to get through those painful times to once and for all figure it out. And looking back at the painful times, I'm like, it was nothing. Like, yes, it was painful at the time, but I can't feel that pain anymore. And even looking back, I'm like, that was nothing. That was nothing compared to where I am today. You guys need to today emotionally detach yourself from the outcome. Say it out loud before you make a call. I don't need this person. I don't think you should act like it. Like, hey, man, if you join, whatever, I don't care. You don't say that. But like, you really, like, I don't care. And you know what's interesting about that? When you're okay with letting him go and they know it, they're like, wow, he's actually okay with me. Like, he's not pressuring me. He's not pushing me. He's not like trying to get me. It's like, wait a minute. Why is he not trying to pressure me? Everybody else is trying to pressure me. What is it? Why? Why? Wait, maybe he's got something that is working. Maybe I should actually lean in. I'm telling you, that's the way it works. It's kind of like, I'll never forget this girl. I think her name was Jenny. I was in high school. I don't know why. I don't know why it works this way. But man, I was hot to trot for Jenny. I liked her. I wanted to date her. I wanted her to be my girlfriend. She had no interest in me. None. None. I mean, it was funny. Like, we were hanging out and we had a great time hanging out. We always laughed, had a great time. She had no interest in dating me. And then I finally, like, because I was like an eager puppy dog, like, I wanted to date her, man. And she knew I wanted to date her. And then it was interesting. All of a sudden, I ended up getting another girlfriend or started seeing some other girl or something. And I literally had no more, I was over it. I was complete. I'm like, I'm over it. I have no interest whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, she wanted me. Oh, it's like, wait a second. I mean, then she starts pursuing me. We never dated. But what is that? Like, here I am. I'm there. I'm eager. I'm a nice guy. Like, we have a good time together. No interest. All of a sudden, I show no interest in you. I walk away. I'm dating some other girl. And now you're all interested in me and you keep calling me. Kind of works the same way with prospecting. I don't know. Dating is kind of like prospecting a little bit, I suppose. So if you're like the eager beaver, like, I got to have you. I need you. I need this sale. This next sale is going to make my day. You're probably not going to make as many sales. So just remember, when you don't need the sale, you make more sales. Keep that in mind the next time you pick up the phone or you engage somebody in conversation about your network marketing business. We'll see you next time.
Well, look at that. Who would have thunk, right? So emotionally detach yourself from the outcome and your outcomes improve. They get better. So whoever cares less about the outcome controls the conversation. So look, you guys, some of what Todd was talking about there in that video is not a conscious thought that your prospect is having. It's their subconscious. And that is the biggest battle we have is if you master human psychology, you win network marketing. If you master human psychology, you win network marketing. The problem is a lot of what we react or respond to as marketers is what we see visibly and what we hear with our ears, right? And so we're measuring how we're going to react or respond to prospects based on what we see or hear. But a lot of the battle that we're overcoming is subconscious. So you don't necessarily see it or hear it. You have to learn these things. So there are things that you have to learn to do so that they just become automatic, right? Because when your posture change, everything changes. So when you need the sale, think about these things. When you need the sale, does your tone change? Is there that little slight hint, might not even be recognizable to many people? Your tone changes a little bit. Guess what happens in someone's in their subconscious? Their subconscious has defense mechanisms and they sense it. It can be so minute that you don't even think it's noticeable, but their subconscious picks up on it. Why? Because as humans, we have self defense mechanisms, right? Fight or flight. When you need the sale, in many, many cases, most people start over explaining things because you want to justify everything with logic, right? People don't make decisions logically. I'm sorry to tell you, they make decisions emotionally. That's the reason why sharing outcomes, right? When you're sharing outcomes with people, the problems you're solving for them, it's way more emotionally impactful to them than sharing benefits. So you could share the benefits, right? Let's take the freedom patch, for example, for pain. You could say, look, you can put this patch here and there and everywhere and have less pain because it blocks the signal to the brain and rewires your neurology and makes it feel like this and that, and start explaining all these benefits of the freedom patch. Or you could just say, hey Rob, I totally get it. I understand that back pain that you've been having because I've had injuries and I know exactly what you're talking about. Imagine what your life will be like when you can use a drug-free technology with called a freedom patch. You just stick it on and you get to live pain-free. So you don't have to deal with these things. Rob, what if it only takes you from an 8 to a 2? How much difference does that make in your quality of life? You see the difference between explaining benefits and selling the outcome? You want them to see what their life is going to be like by using your technology. Or it could be the business, you guys, right? I understand you've got a lot of pain in your bank account. A lot of people do nowadays. This economy's wrecking a lot of people. I mean, gasoline's almost $5 a gallon now, right? Everything costs more. Insurance costs more. Groceries cost more. People are struggling to make ends meet. What if 12 months from now, you got an extra 2 or 3 thousand a month coming in? How much would that change your life? You see how that's an outcome? That's not a benefit of doing it. It is a benefit of doing the business, but I'm not selling the benefits of, hey, if you get started with me today and you bring in 3 people and you put them on your front line and you help those 3 get 3, they go on the second generation and we do that. And I start explaining how everything, people don't care. They don't care. They just want the outcome. Talk about the outcomes, right? When you need the sale, you will chase people. Never chase. It doesn't work. You don't close people you're chasing, right? And when you need to sell, you lower your posture. And that's again where their subconscious raises the defense mechanism and repels you. And people feel it. They may not say it to you. You may not even notice it, but they're feeling it. So here's the challenge for everybody. Who is willing to go into their next 5 conversations with zero emotional attachment? Give me a high five or a thumbs up or a fist bump in the chat if you're willing to go into your next 5 conversations with absolutely zero emotional attachment. Like, you care about the person, but you don't care about the outcome, right? Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? You should be waking up in the morning and being like, who's got my money? You ever heard Grant Cardone say that? He wakes up every morning. Who's got my money? We're no different, you guys. We got a list of people. We're generating a new list of people all day, every day, right? As we come in contact with people in public, in our daily lives, on social media, whatever, generating new conversations. Quantity. You guys, you can overcome, Jim Rohn said, you can overcome a lot of deficiency in skills with quantity, with volume. So don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about being great yet. Of course, we always want to work on ourselves and get better, but work on volume and don't be emotionally attached to that outcome. You guys, Super Zoom, 43 minutes, plenty of time to get some people on, send out those invites, voice memos in text work incredibly well. You can even shoot a little video of yourself and invite your friend to the Super Zoom. And all you have to do is say, join me in 30 minutes at thesuperzoom.com. I'll see you there. Cheers. I'm out.